Hello everyone, Pierce Nation here. Welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be discussing the meta, how it's changing, and quickly, before we go over the meta, how it's changing, all the different decks, and the ban list talk, we're going to quickly go over the Power of the Element cards, because within 24 hours, as you can see, the price of this guy was about $99 yesterday, has dropped to $97 already. And Destiny Hero Phoenix and Forza is no longer $600. So you can see all these cards have begun to plummet, which they will. These will go back and forth for a little bit, and then they'll drop below $10. That's what's going to happen. I'd say he drops to about 30 by the time everything's said and done. This will be like 25. I doubt it's going to hold its price because it's not really that powerful of a card. It does help the archetype, yes, but it's not that powerful. So, with that being said, I think everything else has completely dropped out. So, I did order a bunch of cards out of this set in particular. So, I do have more of them coming in on the way. That way, I can build most of these by the time I get done. I don't know about the Neo support. I might get it just to have it, but I don't think Neo's is going to be good at all. Wow, these really dropped. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Like, when all these cards get announced, I would go ahead and grab your sprites. Right now, if you're smart, get the ones that are really low priced. And the tier limits too. All the low price ones. Get like three of each, which is what I'm going to do, because I've gotten, I think, every other one. So like every like cheap one I have so far, I do have. Yeah, and these are cards that really no one cares about, if I have to be honest. So excuse me. So, let's see. Most expensive sprites there is blue. I haven't ordered any blue because I'm not paying that. Second of all, I don't have a starter because I'm not paying that. I don't have gigantic sprite on the way because I'm not paying that, and I don't have Sprite Elf because I'm not paying that. These cards are not worth that much. These are pre-sale values, which means that when they debut in the market on their debut day, they'll completely tank. So, you see these, do not buy them, no matter how much you're like, well, I need to be the first to have it. No, just be patient. Patience goes a long way in this game. It really does. To prove it. So far, as you see, it's slowly rising, but the price of this card will fall within time. So, and even your tier limits, you want to buy tier limits, now is not the time. But we're getting there. We are getting there. As you can see, the cards have started to tank. See? $36, $19.19. Just be patient and wait. Like I said, when these cards debut, they will not be worth anything near this. It was worth nothing, and it's going up in value because of the market. That's literally it. There's a lot of people who do not know the market value of the cards. As you can see, 63, 58, 59. Ultimate Slayer is one of those cards that I believe will be like a $60 card. I do believe it will be. Martha, I believe, will be like 25 or 30. Starter, I don't know if it'll go down, because it literally is like Drytron Nova for sprites. So And the sprites really remind me of Drytron, simply because they're level 2s, not really 1s, but they all special summon very quickly, a lot like Scareclaws. Scareclaws are really fast. We got some good cards here in the market. But besides that, what we're going to go over is archetypes that were bad in last format, which are going to be good in this format. And number one is with the debut of Sprites, you're going to be watching out for this card right here. Totally Awesome Toad. This card will come up and get you. Sharks will show up in the format, not as prevalent as Marine says, or like Brandon. Brandon's still going to be there regardless until something really gets hit. They're not going to be going anywhere. So you're going to be dealing with this card a whole hell of a lot because everyone's going to be playing Bahama Shark and they're going to be getting into Totally Awesome Toad. With the sprites, however, they can actually make this thing. So, yeah, that's a problem. With that being said, the next, it's an archetype. You probably heard me talk about them before. Is Dinomorphia. Theresia Starlight is actually dropped. I've never been interested in the Starlights, but that is dropping quite frequently. So why this archetype was really bad in the first format of the game, which it wasn't really bad, it was tier 1, tier 2. And it actually topped at a lot of events. Dinomorphias did. Because they were maining Lightning Storm. They were maining Anti-Spell Fragrance. It's a trap deck. They had 3 Solemn Strikes, 3 Judgments. 3 strikes, 3 Judgments. They got running 1 Brute, 2 Sonic. Like, the deck works, it operates. But the reason that it done so bad last format was because of a card called Masquerade Dragon. We have to pay our life points anyway, and if we have to pay 6 or 1200 every time we activate an effect, we're basically out of the game. But with the new format and the introduction of different archetypes and different archetypes people are playing, it's not really going to be a thing, and Dinomorphia does get a bit of a boost because they still have Psychic and Punisher, which is one of the deadliest cards in the game's history. And with that, it's quite something. Like, it's ridiculous. Not only that, but the trap deck of how these Dinomorphias work are kind of really climactic. Now, the reason that they didn't do, like I said, they didn't do good in the first format is because Branded is so prevalent and it's so easy to get in Masquerade and everything else. Where Dinomorphia, it's kind of shoved under the rug. But besides the Branded matchups, Dinomorphia really don't lose to anything. It don't. It's got so many negates. And if you keep going into the games, it doesn't even need any hand traps. It's the kind of deck to where if you Ash Domain or Frenzy, that there's going to be a card to be able to negate when that trap goes off. Or, with if we get Theresia in hand and Fossil Dig, we grab Misk. If it doesn't get ashed, we go to normal summon Theresia and they try to effect Veiler, or if in impermanence, I can send Misk to keep the effect active, which is big. If they ever bring Misk more than one, Dinomorphias are going to be busted because it does have the ability to banish. You can banish Misk and another, card in the deck, and then you can special summon one of the equal value levels, which would happen to be Theresia. If you banish Diplos, you can special summon Theresia straight from the deck, and then get her effect off, which is big for the deck. And we main Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, which doesn't help our opponent any, because that's a big problem. And we run 2 double Evolution Pill. We use it for once we get into Psychic and Punisher. If Psychic and Punisher gets dealt with, we do go into Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, or we'll try to go back to back, which is very big for us. So if you're wondering like what cards would I need if I wanted to play Dynamorphia, of course you need 3 Theresia. I can give you the Dynamorphia numbers. You want to play 2 or 3 Domain. It's personal choice on that one. You want to play. You can go double or triple of these. Now, Rexstorm is the on-field skill drain for your opponent's cards, and plus, if it gets popped, you can bring back Kentrigina or Stealth Bergia. So you can get that. That's a big body. Next, we have Dynamorphia Frenzy, which is the one that fusion summons from the extra deck and the main deck in order to get into Rexstorm, Kentrigina, or Stealth Bergia, whichever one you're going for. Kentrigina, which is going $1.17 a copy. It's 2 random Dynamorphias. Like I said, you can get Domain or Frenzy. It'll work for all of them. You just have to learn the combo on it. This one's big because you don't pay for life points once you're activating trap cards or Dynamorphia effects when you blow 2,000. Now the ruling with a Masquerade kind of overrides this, and you can't really do much. So even to activate an effect with Masquerade on, you still have to pay the 600. So that's kind of a bummer. Reversion. This is player's choice. I don't use it. The reason I don't use it is I can't really do a whole lot with it. And if I get it in my hand with a bunch of other traps, it kind of bricks me up. So I try not to even grab this card because I just don't see the use for it. Sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings with that. I thought about playing it at 1, but not even then. It's kind of a brick. 1 or 2 alert. You don't want to run 3 of these because if you get these in your hand, you got no Dynamorphias engraved. You're wasting your special summon. Plus, once you do special summon, let's see. It's right here. You cannot declare an attack, and you cannot special summon any monsters except for Dynamorphias, which will lock you into Dynamorphias. So, yeah. When you special summon them, you're supposed to have a board built to be able to, get into something else. And this is supposed to be on your opponent's turn anyway. You're not supposed to do it on yours. That's how that one works. This is the big one. This is Sonic. You can play it at 2 or 3, whatever is your goal. I normally run it at 2 because I'm running the Judgments and Strikes and Anti-Spell, so I don't really have to be prevalent on trying to get this card, so it'll just come to me whenever. Also, if you go to take any battle damage, you can just banish it from your graveyard, which helps out immensely. That's all the Dynamorphia spell or counter traps, and the normal traps stop effect damage, which doesn't help against Masquerade because it's not effect damage. You just have to pay. Like I said, that's literally this deck's whole problem. If Brandon did not have Masquerade, we'd run right over top of it, like nobody's business. Because Mirror J wouldn't be able to activate its effect. We could literally use Brute or any Dynamorphia card to get rid of it, and then just swing for game. So, all the Dynamorphias, you do pay half to activate anything. You have to pay half to do anything in Dynamorphias. Dynamorphias, the lower your life points, the better off you are. Depends on your board state as well. So pay for your life points, destroy one Dynamorphia card, and one card your opponent controls. This does not specify. It says one card your opponent controls. So if your opponent is maining Mystic Mine, and you're like, man, how can I get rid of this? Use this, pop your Kentrigina, or Either Kentragina, Theresia, or Diplos. And then you can basically just supposed to summon the other ones out. So, and once you do, you can pop Mystic Mime. It's a trap effect, not a different card. You can banish this from your graveyard, take no effect damage, yada yada. Use that at 1, maybe 2. You don't want to see that any more than that. Do not play this. This is really bad. So this is Shell. It is a counter trap that has to be used on your opponent's battle phase. Special summon it, and for the rest of the turn, they have to attack this giant token. So it's not really that great. Because it has 3,000 defense, which you could say, oh yeah, it's got good defense, but no, not really. It's kind of dead. So we really don't try to use that. The tech choice is not to use that. So the ratio is 3 Kentragina, 2 or 3 Rex Term, and 2 or 3 Stelpergia. Once you get that in, you pretty much got it. Dynamorphia is a really good deck coming this format because Brandon's going to get hit in some way, shape, or form due to the ban list, and Dynamorphia will be full power. Like, there will be literally nothing. Dynamorphia is one of the main archetypes that fights against sprites in the OCG and against Exorcisters. So Exorcisters actually can't beat Dynamorphia on a fair game, because the way that Dynamorphias flood really quickly, they actually don't have cards to actually out any of the Dynamorphia cards. Because we're specifically, every Dynamorphia card has a stupid effect where you destroy one Dynamorphia monster you control. Every single one of them. That one's got it. The Reversion may not. No, it actually does not. But you have to control a fusion monster, which I figured. Sonic, you gotta pop one. So we're down a Morphe monster. And then for this one, let's destroy a Dynamorphia monster. You're going to be noticing something there. Well, the Dynamorphias can go full combo in like a few seconds. So with that, that's basically how you use Dynamorphia, everything. So your Frenzy is also at 3. Like, it's the best fusion out there. But if you have to fuse, you can go Domain. It'll get you what you're trying to do. So Theresia has dropped price because the value has went down. I remember Kentragina was like, I think at one time it was $2 pop. May 3rd. I think Stelpergia has went up. It has. The one I'm surprised is not a lot is number 1 Frenzy. Frenzy was like really big on debut, but now it's like $2, and Rex Storm ain't worth shit. Look at that, 230, 245, and I remember when I bought this card. This card was like $10 a pop. Maybe it was 20. I don't remember when I bought this time. I remember it being like 10. I didn't know it was 20. Theresia, I think I pulled those. Yeah, I definitely didn't buy them. But this is going to be a good deck in the format. The next one is probably the one that is definitely the one that I just went over. I was talking about a whole lot. As you can see, the archetype is kind of small, which is fine because it mixes with a bunch of other decks. More specifically, when you're looking like, what Scareclaw deck can I build? There's two really good builds. There is the Tri-Brigade Scareclaws, which I have made. I'm one of the only ones to have a deck list on it. And second of all is the Scareclaw Crusadias, because Crusadia does the exact same thing as this does. It's just a walking FTK. For me, if I was you and I was building a deck like this, I would think some of my tech cards that are in the deck, and also like in any other deck, I would main like 3 Lightning Storms. That would be smart for this deck, because sometimes you just end up with a board and there's nothing there. And if you like use like Lightning Storm, you can clear the board. Or if you main Dark Ruler no more, you can do it that way too. But yeah, Scareclaws are going to be very, very powerful because of this guy right here. And with those new cards that came out, I don't know about Straddle. Straddle's iffy. But now Lightheart here, yeah, it's going to be big. But if you do happen to pull in the Straddle at like the most missed time, it's going to be able to do a lot. So if they try to do something to your your Scareclaw monster, it's going to be able to negate the effect. Or it can make a face-up defense position card attack, which is big as well. You basically use this effect when basically the time to use this effect, it will be after your Scareclaw Triheart has cleared the board. And when you do, you can attack with something like either Vista Starfrost, or you could go this guy right here, because he's got 2100 defense. Yeah, it's kind of bulky, so if you hit that, you can just swing 2100 directly. And you'll be like, well, how does that work? Well, allow me to explain. So Triheart here, he's the ultimate searcher. He literally does everything. He'll reborn one, and then what happens there is he can go and search one, which is fucking fantastic. And he's a link 3 with 3000 goddamn attack. That is absolutely absurd. And not only this, but if you get this on and somehow you get Fractal and you do the whole chain and you get Caress, and then you're like, I want to special summon Caress, you send a Scareclaw and you get Caress and you go use its effect, banish 4, get into Ominous Omen, activate Ominous Omen's effect, banish a card, then you use Triheart to bring one of the Scareclaws back. And then you can search one for a Scareclaw that you haven't special summoned this turn, or normal summon. I'm sure you've normal summoned by this point. It's how the whole deck works. And then you can special summon the Scareclaw monster. And if you have any of the Tri-Brigade cards, the tech choice cards, you're going to be able to pop off even from there. So it's going to be pretty fucking broken. Especially if you play something like... one, of course it's going to do that. Yeah. So, of course it's not going to show up. Airborne Assault, there it is. So if you main something like this, to where you target one Beast Warrior monster and you can special summon one from the deck, but its effects are negated to the end of the turn, you could literally just target Triheart since he's a dark, and you can get any of the Scareclaw monsters except for Reichardt, because Reichardt is a dark type. So literally you can grab any of the Scareclaw monsters. What makes Rykart so good is, unlike the other ones, again, he's a different type. So if you would do this, you could get into a lot of different cards off of it. Plus, you can't grab Rykart because he doesn't fit the description. So, and also you can do it to get Tri-Brigades too. And you can go through your entire fractal chain, which is very, very smart. It's not hard to do. You know, the deck, will do it for you. You just have to know how to use it. So, you know, Scareclaws are going to be really good. And another good one that's going to be showing up from time to time is going to be Sharks. So, don't know much about this one. You may see this from time to time. Not exactly prevalent, but you will see this. This is Bahama Shark. I'm sure you've seen it before. If you have not, allow me to explain what this does. Basically, it can special summon one rank 3 or lower water monster from the extra deck, but it cannot attack for the rest of the turn. It doesn't matter. It's not for attacking. What Bahama Shark does is it grabs Totally Awesome. And one tech choice everybody's starting to use is Cat Shark. And they're going to be using this card in Marine Cess, Sharks, and even Sprites. They're going to be using this card right here. Now, the reason that they use this card is because of its ability to detach one material and then target one rank 4 or lower Xyz monster, gigantic Sprite, and double the original attack and defense. Which is kind of broken, but I digress. So, other cards that you're not going to see this. Now, you will see them maining Abyss Shark. I believe that Mystic Mime is going to get hit. So, Sky Strikers are going to have to find something else. I think they'll be best with Mr. Rune when it comes out. But until then, I think Sky Strikers are going to be dead in the next format, along with Drytron. I think Drytron has seen its day under the sun, and it is now gone. They will have to make new Drytrons or more level 1 support for Drytrons to be relevant. I think that third day under the sun is gone. The only how that even Drytrons would be really relevant right now is if they brought back Eva. Bring back Eva or even Union Carrier. Union Carrier, deck's busted. That's all it takes. Because I'll actually get off the Sharks for a minute. I'll show you Union Carrier. So if you don't know Union Carrier, anything about it, and you're like, well, I wasn't in Yu-Gi-Oh, 2 years ago when basically I went to YCS and everything like that. Well, allow me to explain you Union Carrier. Very easy to do. You do a 1-2 combo with Drytrons, and you get into this. All you have to do is use the effect of Gamma, and you can do this. So it's 2 monsters with the same type or attribute. Cannot be used as link material the turn it is a link summon. You're not going to use it for link material, I promise you. You can target one face-up monster you control, equip one monster to it from your hand or deck with the same original type or attribute. The equipped monster gains 1,000 attack. If you equip it from the deck, you cannot special summon monsters with that equipped card's name for the rest of the turn. Now keep this in mind. This is the card you need. Not that one. I definitely didn't hit that one. Let's see. Tell me which one it is. Hit that. Man, I forgot the card's name. I'll find it. Give me a minute. Oh boy. This guy. So, how this works is basically, so pull that up and I'll pull up Union Carrier. I will demonstrate how this works. So, if you don't know either of the two cards, so it's two monsters, same type or attribute, can never use them to target one face of monster you control. Equip one monster from your hand or deck, the same original type or attribute. The equipped monster gains 2,000 attack. Okay, so basically, when you control a card that is dark, so Drytron, if I can remember off the top of my head, there's not a whole lot of darks because it's mainly a light fairy deck. But the thing is doesn't really have to be as long as you can control a dragon either. I'm trying to remember what I used to get this. I don't remember what it was. Because I used to use all kinds of fucking cards. Hang on. I'm trying to remember how I done this. God damn it. Because you do equip this. This is what you go and grab. I get this. Damn it. This is really good on my nerves. This is the card that you equip. Now, the reason that you do this, and this card got banned at the same time, about the same time Union Carrier did, because of this. While this card is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So it completely shuts out their extra deck, basically artifact scythe for good, and they can't play. Which is why Union Carrier got banned. I'm trying to remember the card that I actually used to get into it with. I'm going to pull up my Project Ignis. It has to be on here. Which, now note, it's not going to be exactly the same. Drytrons. So, okay, yeah, I was right. There was none in the main. It was Link Haribo. Wasn't it? I bet you it was. Or Unicorn, I can do that one as well. And one that I heard is the best to do it with, yeah, is access code. Yeah, you can do it that way too. Yeah, we can get rid of that Dark World. We really don't need to see Dark World. So, basically what happens is you can equip it, lock them out from their extra deck, and Drytrons run fucking rampant. They get you into the Vantage Ruler lock, so you're locked out of special summoning monsters, because if you can't get into your extra deck, you're already down one side effect. They'll special summon Benton, use Benton's effect, grab Vantage Ruler, activate Gamma, get in 2 Drytrons, and then use Vanity's Ruler, and completely lock you out. It's ridiculous how that works. It doesn't really take a whole lot. In the old version of the deck, the Herald of the Mirage Lights is not in the old version of the deck. It's in the new one. But basically, you take... See, the Herald of Ultimateness stays because he's like the number one win condition. The old version of the deck, if you don't know the ban list, had Eva. Eva had this stupid effect to where if you had at least one fairy in hand and you used any of these effects to send Eva to the graveyard, she can automatically activate her effect to banish up to 2 other light fairies from the graveyard and then add the same number of level 2 or lower fairy monsters with different names from deck to hand. Sounds harmless, right? No, not exactly. Because you can banish orange light and purple light and get green light and orange light. Now the reason that you can do that is simply because you banished orange and purple, so you can add green and orange because they have different names. That's basically how that card works. Or you can add Benton, and then once you send Benton off of one of their stupid effects... Actually, no, that wouldn't work for it. Yeah, that wouldn't work. I'm an idiot. Because it's send, not, and not tributed, yep. So that wouldn't work. But, honestly, if they came off of Eva, and they came off of Benton to 3, and then they came off of, Union Carrier, this whole deck would be busted. You wouldn't be able to beat Drytrons even in today's format because of the way that they special summon and the way that they really build big boards. Sorry about that. And they wouldn't actually have to run like the fairy package like I have it. They could actually be a lot smoother, wouldn't really have to worry about forcing plays because they wouldn't have to worry. They could just get full combo. They survive an Ash or 2. And they get in Union Carrier. Go off Link Karibo with another. Activate Union Carrier targeting Link Karibo. Equip that Buster Blade or Sword. And that's basically all she wrote. Because next turn, you know they're going Vanity's Ruler. And by that time, they've got one of their rituals out. And you're screwed. So if they ever did that for Drytron, which I remember Drytron when it was that good. I got 13th with it at YCS. This was back in like 2020 sometime. When the deck first debuted in Genesis Impact, or 2021. It might have been the beginning of 2021. But yeah, this deck was busted. I remember I played the fuck out of this deck. No, I did too. But thing is anymore Drytrons aren't really that busted. They're really bad in the format right now. They're really bad. I don't even like to play them. Don't get me wrong, I like Drytrons. I really do. It's one of my favorite decks. But it got hit so much. This deck, when it first debuted, was Tier 0. It was one of the first Tier 0 decks of this format. And for a long time, people predicted that Branded and Dynamorphia and even Sword Soul were going to be Tier 0. The only deck that really held up to the Tier 0 status was Drytron. So, if you are wondering the history of Drytron and some of the cards that used to be in this deck, it used to run 1 Benton, 3 Eva, Union Carrier, and Buster Blade or Sword. With that setup right there, that is recipe for disaster. And this deck went against some of the best decks out there. And the reason for it is it took on the Tri-Brigade Zodiac, which is a very good deck. I won't admit shit. With it at full power, and this at full power, they would clash. And with that being said, Virtual World was a good deck for the time. But it versus this Drytron deck wins all day long because you're locked. If you can't get in the Shizao, you're basically screwed. And that's no joke. Like, Virtual World, to actually work and operate, you have to be able to get in the Shizao. And if you get the Union Carrier Buster Blade or Lock, you can't get in the Shizao. And you're screwed. Because your main deck is not strong enough. So, that's a quick rundown on Drytron. It is really bad for the format. Now people ask, so this is just take that out. This is just a demo. There will be cards that get cut down to 2. One of the cards that gets cut down to 2 will be Dragon Shrine. Trade-ins be at 3, and this mystical elf here will be at 3. You'll say, man, that's a lot of cards in the fucking deck. It is. Now there is a recipe for disaster, but first of all, what's going to happen is these guys will leave the deck. These guys are slow. They're not really good for the format currently. To where my mystical elf here is more, it is a hand trap for Blue Eyes or any normal monster deck, because of what it does. You can use this card in any deck. Specifically, it doesn't specify Blue Eyes as special summon. Dark Magician doesn't specify Red Eyes, doesn't specify Elemental Hero Neos. It basically just says that when a monster your opponent controls activates its effect while you control a level 5 or higher normal monster, which just so happens to be the exact same requirements for Piercing the Darkness. How bizarre is that? Quick effect, you can special summon this card from hand, and if you do, negate the effect. I wish it destroyed it, I really do. Or banished it or something, but it don't. During your opponent's battle phase. Quick effect, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it to your field, and if you do, all monsters your opponent control must attack that monster this turn if able, while you control it. So, with that being said, this is a hand trap that you can just use to negate an effect, and if it makes it get a battle phase, you special summon Blue Eyes onto your field. Let's say we're facing Branded here, and I have Piercing the Darkness with, let's say, 1 Jet Dragon. Probably have the Jet Dragon lock, but I'm just going to say 1 Jet Dragon just for shits and giggles here. So we're stuck in this situation. We go battle phase, Mystic Elf activates, special summons Blue Eyes White Dragon. So now they have to attack Blue Eyes, and then I activate Piercing the Darkness. Then my opponent has to keep striking this card, knowing that probably the card that they decide to attack with to be this one. So then I would gain the boost off of Piercing the Darkness, which would be 6,000, and they have to swing into 6,000, however many monsters they have, which basically kills them. It's not a choice. It says must attack if able. So this card is the ultimate hand trap for this deck. If you do not play this at 3, I would love to know why. I would. True Light will be raised back up to 2 because getting Blue Eyes on the field is very prevalent for the deck. Bingham Machine Go will stay where it's at because Bingham Machine Go is the only search card in this deck besides True Light. And the Bingham Machine Go, you have to be able to search Blue Eyes monsters off of it that way. You notice the 3 Melody. The 3 Melody is very important in this deck. And also we had some trade-in. Now the reason that we had trade-in, it is one of the best tech cards out there. Because it's an ultimate combo. You can go Melody of Awakening. You can basically ditch this. get Blue Eyes Alternative, right? Easy. So then you can special summon into Alternative. You can trade in the Blue Eyes. Probably get Jet Dragon. Use the effect to pop. Special summon the Jet Dragon. And then if you have Tyrant or Small World, however, and you have, let's say you have another alternative in hand for whatever reason, you can then use Small World to banish that. I'll probably leave one Sage just for this tech choice. Or I might have to leave them. Shit, that's kind of shitty. Yeah, because I have to be able to search these guys. Fucking hell. I didn't think about that. Or I don't have to. Because I can search it too. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Holy shit. Holy crap. I'm not sure if you guys have realized what I have just found. I may have just fixed this deck. And we are live in a video when I found this. So basically, the Sage with Eyes of Blue is a dead card now. You're really not going to use it to add the Whitestone Ancients. It's not important anymore. Whitestone of Ancients is your one and only normal summon in this deck. Besides, if you want to go with the Mystical Elf Burst Stream of Destruction, which it's tech choices, whatever you want to do. And you probably noticed my Forbidden Chalice. Hand traps are great, but they're leaving the format. They really are. The two should be 3 Dark Reload No Mores. I don't know why the third one's not in there. But is very big for the deck. And also, you don't have to have Sage because there are better ways of summoning. So, like Mystical Elf Burst Stream right here. Basically, she is a hand trap. That if you have True Light and you get Blue Eyes on, Piercing the Darkness is going to draw you a card. Guaranteed. Trade-in is going to draw you 2 more cards, sending the resources you need to the graveyard. And Dictator of D does the same fucking thing. Takes your resource, sends it to the graveyard. So then, Mystical Elf has a target. Small World is your tech card for Mystical Elf. Your Ultimate Fusion needs to be high. Why does it need to be high? Because you have to be able to get it off. We don't have Verte. Probably noticed Barone. Barone's kind of out of my price range right now. I'm going to wait for it to drop before I decide to get it. Or it could be banned. I don't know. It wouldn't be out of the way to ban Barone, to be honest. But it could not happen. I would say how he will be banned. I'm just gonna be honest, because the Punk engine is overused and everybody's doing it. The adventure package is going to be limited, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of the adventure cards hit on the ban list. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Water Enchantress goes to 1. I wouldn't be surprised at all, because it's being splashed in every deck. I've seen a Blue Eyes deck that was using the Adventurer token line, and it's not good for the deck. If you run Blue Eyes Pure and use the cards that Konami gave you, the deck is actually pretty broken. As far as tech choices, now you'll say, well, there's no Blue Eyes Xyz monster. Of course there's not. But like I said before, there are cards that they put in these decks that are meant to be played in Blue Eyes. As such, the Nebula Dragon, it's supposed to be played in the deck. Hard Earth number 92, meant to be played in the deck. These cards are made to be played in these decks. Cards that aren't made to be played in these decks is the Adventure Package. When they designed the Adventure Package, they did not design it to go in a deck like Blue Eyes. You know, that's why they're not level 8s. Or level 4s. Because if you've noticed, Blue Eyes monsters typically run around 4, 1s, and 8s. Now, Chronicle here is a level 7, which is made specifically for Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, but more Dark Magician than Blue Eyes. Now, the reason I do use it is if I summon Alternative off of the effect of Blue Eyes Alternative, I can then supposed to summon Chronicle Magician and then boost it by 2500. Which I think is supposed to summon the defense position so it can't attack, if I'm correct on that. Yeah, goes in defense position. Not that big a deal. Now, the reason that I do like this card in particular is it does add attack, which is big. Now, you say, what if you pull into like Nebula, Magician, and like a few other cards? There's a lot of one-card combos, and if I pull into Small World with the Chronicle Magician and I get a brick, I will use Small World to get myself out of a brick. So, with that being said, Blue Eyes, I'm currently working on this. This is a work in progress right here. This is the build that I am working on. I've got to trim the numbers. I'm going to work on trimming the numbers. Even if I have to drop Ultimate Fusion to 2, I will do that. But I have to trim these numbers. It's way too high. It's very, very consistent at 49, however. But I want it to be, at best, very consistent. I cannot brick with this deck. When I get done with this deck, it will not be able to brick. So, with that being said, this is all the time I have for the video today. If you guys are looking forward to this in the next format, I will have the next format for it very soon. I will keep adding tech cards until I have this absolutely perfected. But until next time, I'm Pierce Nation, and I will see you in the next video. Pierce Nation out.